Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about how to construct the Ronnie rig. It's a rig I've been using for about a year now, and obviously it's a very popular rig out there. So firstly, you get your hook. I use the Rig Adi tackle R3 curve pattern for this hook, and I like to use a big hook. So I use a size 4. We then get our quick link swivel. Again, I use Rig Adi tackles quick link swivel in a size 11. And the first thing we do is try and get the hook onto the quick link. What I do is, it can be a bit tricky, so I get my nail under the little bit that protrudes out, pull it out a little bit, get the hook eye. Again, this can prove to be a little bit tricky sometimes. As this one is proving to be, and pull up to the top. I then get the quick link swivel bit and push that back down again. So what we're left is that at the minute. What I tend to do is make sure that the shank of the hook is running the opposite side to the opening of the quick link swivel when I'm going to do it down. And with the shrink tube, what I'll do is I'll just put the kettle on, so that we can shrink our shrink tubing down. Now, some people cut the shrink tubing before they put it on. It doesn't really make any difference to me. The way I do it is, the end of the shrink tube goes to the top of the barrel on the swivel, and then just over the eye of the hook. When you're making a few of these up, you can measure one and then just cut each one down. So that's done. Because I use a size 4 hook, I need to use quite a big bit of shrink tubing, so I go for the large pattern. We then just put that over the hook like so, send it down, and basically it sits on the hook like that. And then obviously when we're shrinking it down, it shrinks over the eye of the hook and also down to the barrel. And then when I'm shrinking it down, I hold it straight like that. Some people take the shrink tubing over the barrel. You can do this, and what it'll do is it'll give you a bit more rigidity in the hook, and some people like that, some people don't. I believe that, in my personal opinion, if you can get a bit more movement, the better. If you're looking for that rigid hook point or hook, the way the hook sits, then you can go over and go halfway down the barrel, and then that'll give you that little bit more rigidity in it. So while we'll wait for this to steam up, the other components that you'll need for this are obviously your hook link material, and you'll need your micro swivel and your hook stop. So while we're waiting for that, we can put the micro swivel on. So that just goes through one side of it, and that's on like that. And now for the hard bit, especially when you've got eyesight like me, we'll put the hook stop on. Drop that one, so that's not a very good start, is it? So we'll get another one. Now we've got a bit of steam, we'll do that. That's the steam finished, and that is what you end up with. Okie dokie. So obviously that's hardened off now. We'll get our rig bead again. I've used this on a lot of waters now, used it over in France for a recent week session on Crete Lakes. Basically landing fish up to £51 on a lake which apparently doesn't do pop-ups. It's an awesome hook, it's an awesome rig, and very easy to construct. Multitude of bottoms that you can use it over. A lot of people say soft, hard bottom. I've been using it over weed, I've been using it over everything. So basically now what we have is, we have that, as you can see, the hook bead on. There's the swivel just there, which we obviously tie our hook bait on. And what we can do now is we can go and do the boom section. Boom section I use is the coated braid, the Skin Tech in 25 brown. They do also do it in green at Rig Adi Tackle. Very, very soft coated braid, but very, very strong. The weed, like I say, out at Crete Lakes was savage. It was that kind of weed where you actually hold it and pulling it off your line that actually hurt when you squoze it. It was very prickly. I think I re-spooled my reels about 5 times while I was out there. For the clearer bottom, I would recommend the Clear Tech, again in 25 pound, lovely fluorocarbon boom section, whether it be for this rig or whether you're doing a D rig. So basically I'll cut off, I would say that's about, I'm a man, so I would say that's probably about 12 inches. And then get my hook, feed it through the big eye, pull it back on itself like so, turn it round, and what I will do to that is I'll do a 5-turn grinner. So if we make the loop, put all 3 of them together, get your tag end and go through the loop 5 times. Now pull the tag end down, moisten that up, and what I like to do is I like to ease it down to where we're going to be pulling it from. So get the knot, pull down, pull down, pull down, pull down, get it all embedded in. So we end up with that, and then what I do is I then just pull the long tag. The reason why I do that is so that it doesn't, if you do it the other way and you pull it down, what I find is it kind of shrivels up all the coating, and that's the same on any hook link that you do when you're tying a grinner or any sort of knot. I would always tease the hook down first, then get a scissors and we cut the tag end down so that we're left with our hook section and then obviously our boom. Okay, so I then do form a loop at the other side, and basically what I do is I do around 2 fingers, tie an overhand knot, pull it down then so it's over my little finger. Okay, I do this instead of the figure of 8 knot, and the reasons why I shall tell you after I have done it. I then form a loop and I then do a 3-turn grinner. 1, 2, 3. I then put the loop back over my finger, and what I do is I then do exactly the same as before, again salivating it, and what I do then is I pull that grinner down and down until it hits the other knot, and then pull it all tight together. Pull it off your finger. What I then find with that is you can see that now comes exactly out of the centre of the loop. You'll find when you're doing an overhand or a figure of 8 that it kind of goes offset a little bit where the material comes out of the knot. When you're doing that with that knot that I've just done there, as you can see, that comes straight as a die, and I think that's a little better presentation. There's no kinks in it whatsoever, and it just gives me more confidence myself. Try it, see what you think. It's a bit of getting used to doing it, but it's a lot better presentation in my eye. Right, now we'll attach a hook bait. I'm using diamond white at the minute. Okay, so we get our bait floss, pull a section off, cut it, get your hook length material. Oh, them diamond whites smell immense. I've got them soaking in wonderberry goo, and the black currant of the diamond white and the wonderberry is just immense. So we feed the bait floss through the micro swivel like that. You then get the hook bait of your choice. Me, because I'm mainline, using the Impact Diamond White pop-ups. These and the IB Essentials seem to be my favourite at the minute. Baiting needle through the bait like so. Get your bait floss, feed it on. I don't think there's any need to go round the outside of the hook bait. I don't personally think it affects the buoyancy of the hook, of the bait. Pull that down onto your swivel so that it's just covering the barrel. That gives that then 100% movement all the way around on that swivel. Cut off a little tag end. Get your lighter, burn that down, and then blob it on the top. I don't use bait stops anymore. Got a pain in the backside to tie hook, knots over things like that. And that basically is the Ronnie Rig. What I have been doing as a little change is the coated braid section. I've been taking all the coat off so that it's just braid. My thinking in that is that as that comes down, so to speak, obviously that'll push away from, as you can see, that'll push away from the lead as it comes down, hits the clip on the cast. With the braid, I think it comes down and it kind of crumples up just off where the lead is. What my thinking is that when the cork comes in, Mr. Cork comes in feeding on your bait and comes down like that, it can suck that bait from a distance, and it'll have a lot more because it'll be going up the way or up to an angle like that, and it won't feel the lead until it's way back in its mouth. And what I have been noticing is that when I'm doing that, the hook holds are probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches in the back of the mouth, and they're absolutely awesome. Again, you could use that on a really silty bottom, stuff like that. Whereas the coated braid, the fluorocarbon is more. The more clear it is, that's where I would go, so to speak. But that is my version of the Ronnie Rig, and try it. Obviously, before you put it out, I put a bit of putty round where the big eye is, where you're not just round your knot. And what I'll do is I'll get that in water and I'll keep cutting it down until that slowly just sinks with the weight of everything. So that's how I do the Ronnie Rig. Cheers then, guys.